Our energy need in today's time is humongous. We need energy to run our lives and livelihood. To produce energy, humans use renewable and non-renewable energy sources. Our primary source of producing energy is mainly coal. But when we burn coal to get energy from, we also get something in return, and that is carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide is responsible for today's climatic disaster. So we are moving towards renewable energy to meet our needs, but renewables are not reliable. So that's why we need to go somewhere which is less renewable but more reliable. And here I am talking about nuclear energy. Nuclear energy often left out of renewable energy conversation, although nuclear is a zero emission clean energy source. It is also second largest source of low carbon electricity in the world behind hydropower. So the question which will naturally arise is that why nuclear energy is not renewable? The nuclear energy itself is renewable, but the thing we use to get the energy from, which is uranium, is not renewable. Anyway, we are not here to discuss about whether nuclear energy is renewable or not. We are here to discuss about the world's first nuclear tomb that is coming up in Finland. Nuclear energy is good for the healthy earth, but there is a primary drawback of nuclear power, and that is radioactive waste that must be disposed of safely. So, here in this effort, Finland will soon operationalize the world's first geological disposal facility, a nuclear tomb. The site chosen has been geographically inactive for 1 billion years. In Europe, Finland is the second largest producer of nuclear energy next to France. Nuclear energy produces 35% of country's electricity, which is one-third. It has 5 operating nuclear reactors in 2 power plants, all located at the shore of Baltic Sea. Recently, a new nuclear reactor, Onkalo 3, has been connected to power grid for the first time after 12 years of delay. They are also planning for 6 reactors. If all proposed projects are completed, the share of electricity produced by nuclear could almost double, reaching around 60%. A country which mostly depend upon energy import from Sweden, Russia and Norway, nuclear power will going to help them to reduce their energy import. The Finland's nuclear power plants are world most productive with an average capacity factor of 95%. The nuclear energy is good for environment, but its only harmful effect is nuclear waste, and because of that nuclear power generation is super expensive. Only rich countries can afford it, because the nuclear waste itself is a nuclear bomb. It can be used for a nuclear bomb, so it should be disposed of safely. But there is another way of generating nuclear power, which is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion will not going to create any nuclear waste, but the technology has not yet been fully discovered or developed. Anyway, we are now produce the nuclear power using fission. So nuclear waste is necessary available over here, and Finland has came up with an organic solution to restore this toxic waste. Beneath the Finland forest, the solution the scientists around the world have settled on is set to begin its crucial job. Within a few years, the hot waste will be sealed in the copper sarcophagi and put to rest in ancient static bedrock to sleep undisturbed for 1 lakh years in the nuclear tomb. Onkalo, on the Finnish island of Onkalo, will be the world's first operational geological disposal facility or deep repository. The site was chosen because it was geologically quiet for past billions years. Onkalo has been chosen because it lies between 2 parallel fault zones, which would absorb the energy of an earthquake and leave the site safe. It is not the earthquake the scientists and the engineers are concerned of. It is the water which is giving them nightmare, because water poses the greater risk of losing radioactive waste. For this reason, geological disposal facility must be curved from rocks and minerals resistance to water. Because of water, every crack has been mapped and filled. Now, it is the safe place to dispose of the nuclear waste. Spent fuel rods from the Finland's power plants will first cool off a couple of decades in holding pools before being transported to Onkalo, where they will be sealed in Warren tunnels 1,400 feet below ground. When the rods first arrive, any remaining water in tunnels will be vacuumed away by robot. The rods will be sealed in cast iron canisters inside the copper canister with argon forming an extra barrier in between the two. The copper canisters are then surrounded another shell of bentonite. The bentonite is a clay which can absorb water and hold back the relentless assault of microbes. This is the same way the Sweden stored their nuclear waste, which is SKB3. There has been the other sides of disposals of nuclear waste. The other ideas are innovative but not very convincing. Among them, the sending disposal into space or the sea or under the sea floors. All these ideas were all eventually set aside because all of them were too risky. The key to the GDF's ability to hold waste for hundreds of thousands of years is the multi-barrier concept demonstrated at Onkalo. Multi-barrier concept combining artificial layers of security with natural ones. This will help to keep the radiation locked up to slowly cooled off. There are some researchers, they have raised the concerns about the contamination materials at Onkalo, and some environmentalist groups are also raising concern. The researchers, those who are raising concern, according to them, the copper should be avoided because it will eventually crack, and because of that, facility should have gone with bronze. These concerns will be vanished when the public perceptions will be with the concept of GDP. So things will going to get very much convincing when the peoples will going to get convinced. The Finland is a special case scenario for Europe. In Finland, populations have total belief in institutions and reliance on power plants. But there are some European nations where the people force the government to eradicate all nuclear facilities. For example, Germany. In Germany, all nuclear power plants were shut down because of environmental groups' protest. Because of that, they have increased their reliance on Russian energy. So, nations and the nation's population should back their government intentions to make it true. So, it is up to the peoples what they want, and according to them, government will act. In Finland, people want the government to increase their nuclear reliance. So that is why the government is doing so. Now the questions. The first question is, which organizations developed an Indian robot named Vayan Mitra? The first option is CDAC Pune. Second option is ISRO. Third option is TIFR. Fourth option is DRDO. The second question is, which country has become the first one to approve commercial production of genetically modified golden rice? First option is Thailand. Second option is Cambodia. Third option is Bangladesh. Fourth option is Philippines. So that is the end of the topic. If you have any questions or any kind of query about this topic or any other topic, so you can mail me to my email address, which is tuhin.power.academy@gmail.com. So thank you very much. Thank you for your support, and please watch my videos and subscribe, please.